Hello, everyone. It is Kama, and I'm super excited because Loving Me First, again, we are back another Monday where we are talking about if I knew then what I know now. Growing up, we always make not always, but sometimes we make mistakes or decisions and we do things based on what we feel is right. We don't listen to adults sometimes, and sometimes we don't listen to that little voice that tells us, you know what, you shouldn't do it. But we are here to help empower you and encourage you to make the right decisions and do those things that you know is right in your heart so that you can get closer to your goal. So today I'm excited because I have Dr. Kristie Moreland who is here and she's going to share her wisdom with us. And I'm going to share a little bit about her bio and who she is. So Dr. Kristie Angela Moreland, that's a good flow. Kristie Angela, that's cute.
Yes.
Is multifaceted individual with a passion for empowering women to craft their best lives. As an Army veteran, she has embraced the values of discipline, resilience, and leadership, which has seamlessly transitioned into her role as a dedicated life coach, businesswoman, speaker, and author. As a speaker, her engaging presence and profound insights inspire audiences. Beyond her professional endeavors, Kristie is a devoted wife and mother, embodying the principles she believes in. Her journey from the military to a successful coaching career is a testament to resiliency and reinvention. Prepare to be motivated and uplifted as Dr. Kristie Moreland shares her wisdom and guiding women towards fulfilling and success in every fact of her life. She loves to travel globally to teach her threefold formula of success. And this has impacted millions. And I'm super excited to have her on here because we have a like-minded heart with empowering women, empowering our young girls who become women, because you young girls that are watching this, you will be where we are today. So thank you so much for being on and being a part. And I just want to jump right into the question of the
Yes.
day.
Yes.
What would you have told your younger self if you look back? What would you have told yourself?
I would have told my younger self, connect with your priorities.
Ooh, I like that.
Connect with your priorities. And the reason I say that is I was thinking like when you asked the question, when you sent out the email and asked us about it, I was like, oh my gosh, I would tell myself so much. I would tell my younger self so much. But I figure it all fits under the umbrella of connecting with your priorities, right? Because if you connect with your priorities, I always say it'll flow from the head down into everything else in your life if you connect to your priorities. And so I broke it down to three. And right in the middle of priorities, somewhere there's an O. So I'm going to give you three O's that I connected to. So, like, your priorities might be different, but I'm just sharing with you my priorities. And it's our faith, ourselves, and one another. Or
Yeah,
you could say others too, right? Our faith, ourselves, and one another. So if I connect with my faith, then
yeah,
it's going to flow down to me, and then it's going to flow down to everybody else. If it doesn't hit them, then maybe they shouldn't be in my flow.
that's right. Everybody don't belong there.
Everybody don't. I say it's something wrong with them, not me, because I'm connected. I'm connected with my priorities. So if
Yeah,
I keep my priorities in check, everything else, and it comes from a biblical scripture, when he tells us the two greatest commandments is love God with all your heart, soul, and mind,
yes,
right? And love others as you love yourself.
yes.
And if I got those things under, if he's happy, I'm happy. If
That's
you not,
right.
get with him.
That's right. That's right. There's a scripture that says that delight thyself in the Lord and he will give you the desires of your heart. So when you
Yes,
talk about that faith and you're
yes,
obedient and you do what he tells you to do and you
yes,
love yourself,
yes,
you can love others and you know
yes,
how to be loved. And I love the thought
yes.
of priorities. Dig a little bit deeper into that because I know a lot of young girls they don't even know like where to even start. They may not even figure out what is a priority. So is there something that comes to mind that you may think, you know what, this was a priority I should have just focused on and
Something that is how do you can create your priorities,
that
because like because for me, I think of the example of like walking in Starbucks, right? And then you sit down at the table and your purpose for going there was to do an assignment, right? Because it was too much going on at home, you know, too much then you get to the Starbucks, and I know me. I can't do that. That's not gonna work for me because I will continue to be distracted the same way I was at home because I am a people watcher and a people pleaser, right?
Mhm.
I'm a people I grew up being a people pleaser. I've learned my way out of that, right? But I'm a people pleaser, people watcher. So then I remain distracted because I'm looking at every person that comes in. If somebody says looking at their shoes, looking at what's going on, you know, I'm just totally off. So
Yes.
I had to learn to not be distracted by staying connected with my priorities. And so then when I first left home for the army, you know, my mother was a single mother. She was very strict. She didn't let me do a lot of things, like go out a lot. Well, if you ask her, she'll say she let me do a lot more than her parents allowed her to do because my grandparents are immigrants to the country, right? And so they were new to the country. They were learning the country, didn't know if they could trust people or not, you know. But for me, I felt like she didn't let me do much. So
Yes.
then when I left home with the military, Kristie was having a good time. Kristie did all the things that she hadn't been allowed to do, going out, drinking, this, that. And so once I got all the fun out of my system, per se, if you want to say it was fun, because really the fun didn't always have fun consequences.
Right.
But once I got that out of my system, I'm like, okay, you're just gonna do this for the rest of your life. This is it. Like,
Right.
and so
Right.
I had to connect with my purpose, see what is important to me. And then once you decide the things that are important to you, then you make them a priority in your life,
Mhm.
right? What's
Mhm.
important to you? What was important to me? Like one thing that was important, I went to a year of college while I grew up in LA and I went to Long Beach for college and I did 1 year. And so my point of going to the military was to let them pay for college, right? And
Mm.
so I said, okay, I'm gonna go to take some college courses. Well, that like I said, when I first got out of basic training and all my trainings and got to my first duty station in Georgia, oh, I was like, this is new. Let's go try this. Let's go try that. And so priorities out the window. Talk
Yeah.
about distracted. The priorities, what's important
Right.
is getting it in right now, getting some
Right.
dance, you know, just having some fun, right? And all fun is not bad fun, right? It was fun to get out there and dance, but priorities were out the window.
Yeah.
So then thankfully I was only there for a short amount of time. And so because I was getting a fresh start at a new duty station, which just happens to be in Germany, I
Oh,
was like, okay, fresh start, stay focused.
yes.
Fresh start, stay focused. So as soon as I landed, as soon as I figured out where I was going to be living, soon as this, soon as that, I signed up for some college courses. Priority. What's important to you? Education was important to me. So got my priorities back in order, per se. And then life happens and then you get distracted again, but then you got I think an important thing is getting back on track as quick as possible when you
Yeah.
do get off.
Oh, absolutely. That's like the hardest thing. And I think that's where we find as adults, even I have young kids that are younger. We both have younger kids,
Yes.
and my what I find is they'll try to be on a good track, something distracts them and they forget.
Yeah.
Whereas the older we get, something gets us off track. It's like, oh no, I gotta jump back on. And it's those
Exactly.
things that I think like, okay, if I would have just followed what I'm doing now, my gosh, where would I be today? I wouldn't
Yes.
be 6 years old still trying to figure out, well, how do I get here? Because we're still learning. Like we don't sit, we're not talking here because we're perfected, right? It's
Exactly.
life lives. I'll just say that
Yes.
lives. And
Yes.
we have to stay focused. And even with you talked about how, you started at Long Beach and then you went into the military to pay, but for a minute it was like, I mean, to get your education paid for, but it sounds like
Yes.
for a minute you fell off for a second, but obviously you
Mhm.
jumped back in because you are Dr.
Yes.
Kristie
Yes.
Moreland. So
Yes.
what was that journey about? Because I love to hear about the higher education that a lot of kids may or may not want to do these days, but I think it's
Well,
important.
well, I was one of them. I was not interested at all in going to school for that long. But
Mm,
my husband is a visionary. My husband came to me and said, "You know, I see you getting your doctorate." And I was like, excuse me? I was like, don't be seeing stuff for me.
Right, that ain't in my vision.
I said, don't see stuff for me. I'm not interested in all that
Mm,
because I had got my bachelor's already and I was gonna thinking about working on my master's, but I did not actually go to school in order to receive my doctorate, right? I received an honorary doctorate, and because I was doing the work,
I
and
love
it took
that.
me a long time to accept that title as well. It took me a minute to accept that title because I felt like I didn't do it the way I was supposed to. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Because I
Wow.
didn't. But if a college sees that they deem the work that you're doing doctorate appropriate, honorary doctorate appropriate, hey, God had to finally tell me, hey, I gave that to you. The
Yeah.
college didn't give that to you. I gave that to you. So you better take advantage of what I've given you. And it wasn't like I wasn't doing anything. I was doing a lot. I was a pastor of a church in Germany. And so it was taking all of my time and I was giving them all of my energy and everything of my life, really. And so the work that I was doing was deemed doctorate appropriate. So
Wow.
yeah, and so like I say, there's various ways to to receive things and to earn things, but whatever way you find that works for you or whatever avenue that comes, do it and accept it and flow with it.
Well, you know what? That goes back to your priorities. What's important to you? And
Yes,
because you did what was important to you, you were rewarded for that. It doesn't
exactly.
matter, like you said, how you get it, because there's
Yes,
several celebrities. I don't know how many times I've heard of Oprah Winfrey. I think she has like 3 honorary doctorates. Uh,
exactly.
I've heard of different people that have them, and how you get it. I don't think there's like this exact way that things are supposed to be done. And when
Exactly.
God puts something in place for you because you're obedient, you get your priorities in order, you're doing what you're
Yes,
supposed to do. I mean,
yes,
that is an honor because how many times do people walk around and say, "Oh, where did you graduate from?" They do it, but not as often. I take that to me, that is, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize that. And not to say this in a rude way, but us ordinary people, that's not all out there can get those
yes,
because you just hear celebrities do that. I've never
yes,
met someone who got a honorary doctor's degree. So I am like, feel like I am amongst greatness because that's a huge accomplishment. Like that's beautiful because I'm looking at going back to school for my master's degree. And what I'm trying to do is find the time to be able to do so. Because when you talk about priorities, I think about how I didn't want to go to school. I went to school because my dad so bad wanted me to be in public service. Like he's a probation officer, has been for 50 years now, won't let his job go, but it's okay. Um, but that's what he wanted me to do. So I was going to go and become a probation officer. I want to do all of this stuff, but it wasn't for me. It was for
exactly,
him. So I dropped out of
exactly.
school. I went back to school. I ended up getting my bachelor's degree because I started putting my mind in order. And I'll tell
Yes,
you, just from the bachelor's degree, I wanted to get I wanted to teach I
yes,
wanted to be a professor. But I
yes,
was told I had to get a master's. And so
yes,
I was like, oh, I'll go back to school. I don't know when. But because I opened my mouth at an event, I was
exactly.
asked, do you want to teach? I didn't go for I didn't go for an interview. It was,
Yes,
do you want to teach these real estate courses at our community college? Now I work
yes,
at Moreno Valley Community College, and Moreno Valley Community College has been um, it's just been a blessing. That's been since 2018. And
yes,
but when I walked in, they told me, "Oh no, for this part-time, we just need a bachelor's degree and 3 years experience." And at that time, I had
yes,
like 15 or 14 years experience, something like that in my field.
yes, yes,
So because I had my stuff together,
yes,
look where I am now, 2018,
exactly.
2023. I'm doing what I love because
Yes,
I got focused. So I
yes.
love that. Like that's
And
just
like when you something you said when you're talking about like order and then you knew what you wanted
mm,
versus what your dad, that's what I'm talking about when I talk about being a people pleaser because
yeah,
my world was about whatever my mom wanted. You know what I mean? Growing up, of course, we're supposed to follow instructions, and I'm the oldest of three, so I was the one that was the responsible one, trying to do everything that she needed me to do. And the army was the first decision I made that she did not agree with.
Oh,
And
wow.
but it turned out to be for the good. As soon as I left, you know, even when I left, she was, of course, supportive and loving, but when I made the decision, she wasn't necessarily happy about it. But I saw that it did what I needed it to do for me. And
Yes.
so that's when I say, you know, God, ourself, and one another, ourself, another thing that comes from that, I say, I am me, I am married, and I'm a mom
Yeah.
in that order.
Yes.
And it's funny because my husband said that you're married, but he said, "But what about the wife?" I was like, "You know what? That's right." Because often we're concerned ourselves with getting married,
Yes.
but we don't concern ourselves with being a wife. What
Yeah.
comes with being married, the title of wife. And I said, "No, the only reason I said married was because it was an M, because it's
Yeah.
I am, and it
Mhm.
has three M's on it. I am me, I am married, and I'm a mother." And
Yes.
like you just said, we have children, and we even allow them to distract us sometimes because some things I make you be independent. I teach my children how to be independent people so
Mhm.
that they can walk out the door and be independent adults. When they have a situation at school, they are in every meeting because this is your world. This is not
Yeah.
my world. I'm not here every day. I don't know
Right.
what's going on. And so when my daughter was first born, I was focused on her, focused on her. You know, they're infants. Of course, you have to be. They can't take care of themselves. But I was losing sight of what it is I was supposed to be, Kristie was supposed to be doing,
Mhm.
because I am me first,
Right. Right.
me, married, and a mom. And so I
Yeah.
had to remember, I had to keep these things in order, and my brain works like that. So it's very God, you know, God had to talk to me. It has to talk to me like that. Everything has to be in order for me.
Yes. Yes. No, I love it. And the thought came, and we'll be wrapping up of, you've been on several planes. What do they tell you?
Yes,
Mask on first, right?
exactly,
And that's where
exactly.
that me comes in at. And that has been
Yes,
my motto for the last 3 to 4 months, because I realize I've been taking care of everyone else and have lost oxygen.
yes,
Now I'm taking care of me, just literally simple from like this weekend. Okay, so last week I went on well, we're pre-taping this. So December, I went on a cruise
yes,
for the very first time. And while I was there, I got a massage. So the lady after the massage, she was telling me, she was like, "How often do you take baths?" Well, I don't like to do baths. I like to do showers because
yes.
mine is always spinning. And I'm like, I don't have time to be soaking in the bath and all that kind of stuff. Well, I used to do it. But now she was like, at least once a week. So she sold me this bottle of stuff. And she was like, it was like some lavender and eucalyptus and some stuff to kind of help like relax me, because she was like, "You're so tensed here." So that Sunday night, I came home and I said, "You know what? That's what I'm gonna do." And I took some me time and I
Yes,
just soaked in the bath, and it was so relaxing and it
yes,
just felt good, and it just prepared my mind mentally for the week.
yes,
And I
yes,
just felt good because I did something for me. And
yes.
that is what we have to do. And with that said, what is a tip that you will give to our young ladies and our audience and those that are watching to help them as they get through this thing we call life?
I would say just what you just said. Invest time with yourself to know yourself. We
Yes.
think we know ourselves, but we don't invest enough time with ourselves to complete. We know things that our mother taught us, or we know that we didn't like something. I hated avocados as a kid. I love avocados because I was willing to try them
Yeah.
again. So
Yes.
invest time with yourself, try new things, learn new things, be willing to travel, be willing to get to know somebody that you normally wouldn't invest time with, right? That you don't daily everybody see interacting. I talk with everybody. My kids are always like, "You don't have to say something to everybody." But I love people. So that's what I would say. Get to know yourself. Invest time with yourself to know yourself.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Kristie, for being on and empowering those that are watching and empowering me. Again, congratulations on that honor that you received. And I just encourage each and every one of you to take these life lessons and these tips and these techniques and these things that we're sharing with you and move forward with it, because it will only make you a better person. We've all gone through hard times in life, and you may have gone through something harsher than we have and vice versa, but we're still standing and we are here to love on you, to be here for you, and whatever you need, make sure you reach out to us. So make sure you are following us on our Instagram at lovingme.first. We are growing that page. We're super excited. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube page, share this information with others, check us out on our website, subscribe to our newsletter at lovingmefirst.org. Thank you all so much for watching, and we hope you make it a wonderful week.